Juliet introduced us, but we're so excited to be here. My name is Olivia Rohde. Really, what Instead is as a product is it's an AI-powered tax advisory platform. And really, what we focus on is how do we find proactive tax savings opportunities within your kind of current business activities, as well as recommend proactive strategies that you can implement throughout the year in order to realize that tax savings. And we do that across all of your different entities. So 1040, Schedule C, E, F, C Corps, S Corps, partnerships. And coming soon, we will have both trust and estates as well. And so right now, today, we are a tax advisory platform that uses AI and artificial intelligence to proactively find that savings. Coming next year, we will have the ability to file as well. So you can actually, from start to finish, have a savings-led filing experience. And we really work with quite a bit of tax advisory professionals to find that savings. We also have the capability for businesses to come in and directly find it. So if you are a tax pro and or a business, this presentation is going to be really valuable for you guys. Really just show you some different things that you can do, either as a tax professional or partnered up with a tax professional. Now, one of the things that we're so proud of as a business is we're actually the first company since 1993 to receive full federal approvals across all of the different entity types. And really what we're focused on is how do we make the tax prep process more simplified as well as savings focused. And so depending on where you are, either as a tax professional or a business, there are a few different levels of tax service that exist today. Most commonly, everyone is familiar with tax preparation, mainly because you have to do it every year. Otherwise, you get in a little bit of trouble there. So we're all very familiar with the tax preparation process, but there is additional tax services that you can work with those professionals on. That can be managing those quarterly estimates for your business throughout the year to make sure you don't have a large tax bill at the end of the year. You may also be working with a CPA or making recommendations directly to those clients on a one-to-one strategy basis. Maybe you've heard about becoming an S Corp and you want to work with that tax professional to actually make that happen. And then there's also these two levels that we're really focused on that are tax planning. How do we identify strategies that we can work on throughout the year to actually implement? And then tax advisory services. This is kind of our bread and butter, and it goes from not just identifying the strategies that you can do, but working with a professional throughout the year to actually document and file that on your tax return. And so whenever someone works with Instead, we really look at that tax advisory service across these 5 different areas. How do we examine your previous year's tax returns to say, okay, what could we have claimed in previous years? We're actually going to go through that with you guys today. We're going to show you how you can find tax savings just based on the previous year's return. We're going to show you how to actually create a tax plan together today with the help of AI, identify those strategies. And then ultimately throughout the year, what we look to do is actually implement those. And we generate these tax strategy reports so that you can confidently put that on your tax return, really have that IRS level of necessity when it comes to claiming a tax strategy. We don't want any surprises. We want to make sure that you guys are substantiated in the way that the IRS recommends as well. And then really looking at estimated payments and filing that tax return. And so if you are a tax professional and you're on this call, we have both Instead and Instead Pro. Instead Pro is our partner level. We create a ton of resources that we provide to you guys as a part of the Negozi community, really around how do I speak to my clients about tax planning and advisory? How do I first ask questions, analyze that tax return to determine, hey, did this client overpay last year? And then ultimately, how do I educate my clients on those different levels of tax advisory services and how maybe they haven't had that level of support that they were hoping for in the past, and ultimately show them how much we think we can save them in a year. So if any of you are tax professionals on this call and you want those resources, just put in the chat. Juliet and I will make sure to get you set up with those, as well as if you follow the Instead page on the Negocios platform, we'll share all of these resources for you guys to be successful. But really what we look at, any of our pros that work with us, as well as the Instead experience, is we want to look at taxes not just as a specific time of year, April or March 15th or April 15th, but an annual relationship that really follows these 5 key steps. So how do we get the client onboarded for success, ultimately deliver a tax plan that identifies the strategy, and then throughout the year, managing the tax strategy implementation, as well as those quarterly estimates that you're paying to the IRS, making sure they're as small as possible throughout the year, and then ultimately filing. And so any of our tax professionals that we work with, we really have them go through a few different key areas, and Instead is designed to assess each of these. So really looking at that tax plan, those deductions that our previous accountant might have missed, or the previous professional that they were working with. How do we examine the right entity structure given all of the additional strategies that we're going to be considering? And then really go into that compliance side as well of business tax, individual tax preparation, and then those quarterly estimates as well. And really what we see across this process as a professional is that when we provide client savings, clients are willing to pay a little bit higher of amount so that they can ultimately have that ROI. Any of the professionals that we work with and coach, really they try to get a 3x ROI for any of these businesses that come in. And we'll actually provide for the tax professionals any of these calculators so that you know, okay, what is the industry really looking at whenever they are pricing out these bundles. Really, when you look at the strategies that Instead has within their 150 tax strategies that you can implement inside of your business, they're going to fall into these 6 different categories. So we have, the workhorse, which are going to be those common deductions and credits. W-2 specific strategies. So strategies on the individual level that you can use to actually lower that AGI. Maybe you're in an industry that has industry specific strategies. Additionally, there are life events, right? If there is a birth of a child, a sale of a home, we're going to start that retirement planning. What does that really look like? And then as you start to get more involved with tax strategy and tax advisory, what are some of those more advanced strategies that may require a little bit higher of an investment, but have quite a return on investment? And so across the Instead platform, we have over 150 tax strategies within there that you can identify for your business or for your clients. But really what we look at is how do we provide this in a great way and with the power of AI. And if you are a tax professional, really, we've seen quite a bit of growth across 10,000 different tax pros within our community. I wanted to highlight Alfredo Galan. He's worked with us to actually grow to a 7-figure business and ultimately have that growth rate through tax advisory. So when he first came to us, he was a tax prep focused business. So that first level that I showed you guys earlier of how do I start to change my offerings to provide more value to my clients and in tandem grow my business as well. So we have a ton of different case studies and clients that we've worked with to ultimately see this level of growth and of course tax savings. Throughout the Instead platform, I'm actually going to show you guys how it works. We're going to hop into a demo and show you how to examine tax strategies today. But we create 3 different reports that you can create for your clients or for your business as well. The first is going to be the tax return analysis. So what we've done is we've taken those federal level calculations that the IRS has approved, and we've trained AI to say, hey, what are strategies that someone can implement based off of their previous year's tax return. So it'll go through and examine all 150 of those tax strategies and really say, hey, we think that these are going to be powerful strategies for you. Here's our estimated tax savings based on your actual tax return. And then what are strategies that we might not recommend, and here's why. So based on your specific situation, you can determine which strategies and generate a report that you can deliver to clients. Or if you are a business, you can actually hand to your tax professional and say, let's work together to start implementing these. On the tax plan side, once we've kind of examined the tax return and determined these are going to be the best strategies for me, they're going to make the biggest impact, that's where we actually start to go into the nitty-gritty of the calculation. What do we think that we can actually save based on the plan strategies that we have? And this is just such a powerful report that you can provide to clients as well. And then what I think is one of the most powerful strategy reports that we actually provide, or reports that we provide, is actually this tax strategy report. So what this is it's going to be all of your documentation and all of the reasons why you are able to claim a tax strategy on your return. So for different strategies, there's different requirements. These reports will actually walk you through every single thing that you need to do. What have we completed so far throughout the year? What work still needs to be done? And then ultimately every tick and tie out for you to be able to put that as a work paper inside your tax return and ultimately get that filed. So we're actually going to go in today. I think Juliet is going to pop into the chat. Perfect. So she already did that. So what's nice about Instead is we actually have created a tax. Let me go in here real quick. Perfect. So we have a free trial available for you guys. So you can go in here. If you go to the link that Juliet shared, you'll see right here that we have this free trial opportunity for you guys to come in. So don't have to put a card down today. Super simple. I'm just going to walk you through it, and I would recommend following along so that you can actually upload your tax return and find some savings opportunities. So I'm just going to go in, put in my first name, last name, email address. Now, what we'll want you to do here is just select which applies to you. So tax and accounting firm, small or medium business, or if I'm just an individual here, you can select that. I'm going to show you guys the tax and accounting firm route, but once I get into the actual account, we'll be on the same screen if you are a business attending. So we're just going to ask you a few questions about your business and go through that process. So I'm going to put in my firm name here, my phone number. And then I'm going to select which of these apply to me as I go through this process. So tax planning and accounting firm. I am the firm owner here. And then we're just going to ask a little bit about the size of your business as well. And then how many business returns that we have. If you're on the business side, you'll see that we're just asking a few questions about the actual entity so that we can start the setup for you. Let's say I work on 100 business returns. And once I've gone through those different levels of questions, I'm going to actually see complete onboarding. So once I've done that, I'll get this view screen right here, and I'm actually going to start adding in my first client. So go ahead and put in the chat if you have gotten to this screen here once you've gone through the trial setup. While I give you guys a minute to do that. So on the Tax Pro side, you do have a 7-day free trial. On the business side, we provide a 30-day free trial as well. That way you can kind of play around with it, see what makes sense for your business as well. But really what we want to do is give you guys the opportunity to see, hey, does this make sense for my clients? And does this make sense for the tax advisory needs that I have? So once we see this right here, hello, Olivia, which client would you like to help today? I'm actually going to hit add client. So I'm going to create just a sample client today. So I'm going to make Sarah Jones here. And on the professional side, if we have two options, you can do firm pays where you pay on behalf of your clients, or we have a lot of firms like QuickBooks who will the client will pay for the subscription, but the tax advisor manages it. It's really up to you. We have a lot of clients who see success with both. So I'm going to do the firm pay options here. And then I'm actually going to skip adding a client, but you could actually go in and add in Sarah Jones's email and choose to invite them immediately or invite them after you've set up their account and found some additional savings. It's really up to you guys on what you want to do there. And so on the business side, if you created an account, this will be the view that you actually see. So now on the tax professional or the business side, you'll see both here now. But I've created Sarah Jones. I'm also going to go in and actually add in my additional entity. So let's say I have a business named Ocean Club and I am an S Corp. I'm actually going to go in and create that entity. And what I would recommend is for every entity that you have, whether it's a Schedule C, E, F, or an S Corp, I would make them all. That way you can identify different strategies for savings opportunities in each of your businesses. So once I've created my entities here, I'm actually going to go into Ocean Club. And let me see if I can zoom in a bit as well. So what's nice about the Instead experience is if you've ever, worked with AI previously, you have that chat opportunity. So you can come in here and actually talk directly to the AI. It also has a guided experience option that you can move through. Whenever you click into an entity, though, what you're going to see right here is it's going to ask you to upload a prior year tax return. So it's always going to start there. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab a tax return that I have right here on my S Corp. So what that tax return analysis is doing is it's going line by line and it's looking at that return and it's examining what can I save here. So it takes about 30 seconds to really go through and identify what savings opportunities there are. As a tax professional, if you're really going in and you're digging in on every applicable strategy, that can take hours at times, right? But what the AI will actually do is it'll proactively look for those. And you can come in as that tax pro and say, hey, here are those tax strategies that make the most sense. So, as I was talking right here, it actually went in and did that analysis for me. So I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger here so you can see. So based on my previous year's tax return, it's actually gone in and given me a potential savings range. So anywhere from 28,000 to 184,000 in savings. Just depends on how aggressive I want to get with some of these strategies. That's where that range comes in. And so what it's going in here and looking at are the different strategies that I can do, as well as the ones that it's maybe not recommending. What you can do with this AI tax return analysis is you can hover over any of the strategies and it'll tell you why the AI recommends it or why it is not recommending it. So if you look at this right here, it gives me a few different options. Let's say I want to come in after looking at a specific strategy, what that entails. I want to make sure that I'm implementing the accountable plan within my business. Let's say we also want to do the Employee Achievement Award, as well as maybe some additional strategies inside here. So what I'm actually doing is I'm adding this to my planned strategies, and that will start to populate into my tax plan. So as I go in here and I actually start to add those, I will see that my potential savings up here is updating. You can choose to implement these strategies or do a little bit more research into them and chat with the AI to determine why it made that recommendation. It also comes in here and says, hey, based on your previous year, here was your business income, your compensation, the salaries paid, and the potential strategies that you can work on to implement. So the chat will always try to move you forward within that experience. But let's say I want to go into the accountable plan here and just learn a little bit more about what that strategy entails for me to implement it inside my business or make that recommendation to clients. And so it'll give you a little bit of a description on the strategy, what's actually required to be able to claim this on your tax return, and then what is needed to be done for implementation. How do I make sure that we do this in the right way and get that defensible position? Additionally, if you are a tax nerd and you want to dive into the IRS references as well as any related court cases around that tax strategy, we provide all of those down here. Those will also be available inside of your tax strategy reports. And so if, I want to just go based off of last year, I can say, all right, well, I think that I'm going to be actually able to save $10,000 to $50,000 on this strategy. But let's say I want to just back of the napkin calculation on this. I have 10 employees and their average expenses per year are going to be around $5,000. What it'll look at here is what is that potential deduction and the potential savings based on those business activities. Again, this is a really simplified calculation, but you can actually see how did instead arrive at that number and dive into it. So based on the 37% effective tax rate, here is that tax savings number that I have. You can always update what that effective tax rate is depending on your situation or the client's situation. And so as I go through each individual strategy for planning, right, I want to show you guys just what those client reports look like as well so that you can see them. So for any of our reports, you can generate them through the entity, through the account as a whole, or after I've started to implement a tax strategy, I can go in and generate reports on that specific strategy. So I'm going to show you guys what that actually looks like right here. So for the tax return analysis, let's say I'm a tax professional and I want to actually present this to a client. This is a great sales material. You can show them, hey, if we work together in a greater way, here's what we think we could help you with throughout, and here's the analysis that we've done. So this tax strategy report, you can brand it within your firm as well. Or if you're a business, you can bring this report directly to your tax professional and say, hey, I want to work on these together throughout the year to make sure that we can implement these. Now, for this client right here, the sample report that I'm showing you guys, they are analyzing that the accountable plan, the clean vehicle, employee achievement award, as well are recommended strategies. And it'll say why we're recommending it and any of those references of what we want to implement. And then any strategies we maybe aren't going to do this year or we're recommending not to recommend to that client. Awesome. So that is going to be on the tax return analysis. Now, after I've gone in and said, okay, these are the strategies that I want to actually implement, that's where this tax plan comes in. And this is going to be kind of like your source of truth for that year's plan. And what it'll do is it'll tell you the potential savings as well as the savings by entity. So we look at tax savings right here is what have we realized inside of this business or this entity so far in the year? And then what is the potential that we still have? So Sarah Jones has realized 13,000 in tax savings so far, but she can go all the way up to 40,000 throughout the year. As well as any of her additional entities as well. But what's really cool about this, if you are a tax nerd and you want to really dig into the nitty gritty, is we're going to give the entity strategy recommendations as well as those calculations. How did we arrive at these numbers for each individual strategy? So for the Augusta rule inside here, what is the eligibility requirements, the steps for implementation? And then how did we arrive at this number for tax savings? And you can review this with clients, or you can review this with your tax professional to really understand, like, here's what I file on that return, and here's how we arrived at these numbers. So we'll do that, and we'll also include any of those references as well. So we do that for across all of the different entities and all of the different strategies. But what's really, really cool are these tax strategy reports. So traditionally, implementation has been the hardest part about tax advisory. There's a lot of documentation that needs to happen. And what we do is we use AI to actually do that process. So all of the work that needs to be done, but necessarily doesn't need to be done by a human, we use AI and these tax strategy reports to actually make a really defensible tax strategy. So looking at this one, work opportunity credit here, so far what we've done is we've realized $4,000 in tax savings for that client, but there's 48,000 in potential. So we can keep going. You can use this as a way to say, hey, we should put more time and attention into this because there's still so much work and savings to be found. So if I wanted to come in here and look at, okay, well, how did we arrive at that 48,000 in savings? And then what actually happened for us to be able to realize that tax savings inside here? So Michael, on the work opportunity credit, he's the first employee that we actually went through and implemented a work opportunity credit for. And here's all of the information that went into it as well. So we can see what's been completed, what still needs to be done to further find additional tax savings, and then how do I file this on a tax return? Anything that maybe your client or you need to avoid in order to make sure, like, we don't get in any trouble, we don't make a mistake and no longer be able to claim that tax strategy. So really what we do here is we just give all the information as well as any potential issues that they may run into for you to be able to do this and make that tax return filing process really, really easy. And, one thing I wanted to show you guys here, I know that we are coming up on time, is just you can work with the chat to actually start implementing these. And what I love about this chat experience is you can ask it to speak Spanish to you as well. So if you do want have clients who are predominantly Spanish speaking, or you prefer to speak with a chat in Spanish, you can actually ask it to do that for you moving forward. So it will be able to translate it. Now, the chat experience will translate into Spanish here. We are working on having it where this user experience here will also translate into Spanish, but that way you can go into the actual, chat experience and do all of that documentation. Amazing. So really looking at it, if you go through in just that 30 minutes, I was able to generate a tax return analysis report, as well as a tax plan, a tax strategy report, and find up to $127,000 in tax savings. So just really, really powerful. I hope that you guys were able to upload a tax return. I know that I actually went through that quite fast, but we are here to help you guys and support you guys as we grow together. So really quickly, I did want to just talk about our partnership program. So if you are a tax professional, you have access to all of those tools and reports, but as a part of our partner program, we provide you guys a ton of different resources, whether it's marketing, sales, pricing, client delivery templates, outside of just the reports I showed you today, as well as we have an accountant directory. So if you are a tax professional who focuses on advisory services, we will actually list you guys in our website to get additional clients. So we invite you guys to do that with us. And anyone who is a partner or a pro with us, we do have an onboarding for you guys to make sure, okay, how do I roll this out to all of my clients? We have 2-day events that we offer where you can really get immersed into that experience I showed you. How do I get clients? How do I deliver a service that really wows my clients as well as delivers tax savings? I mentioned, we have our firm directory and then just endless resources. We will share quite a few with you guys after today's call as well. But again, anyone who decides to work with us, you do get a event ticket credited. So if you are interested in working with us in a more of a fashion, we would love to have you out there um, as well. And then if you are a taxpayer on here, I would recommend that you actually go into our website and find a professional there. I talked about Alfredo earlier. He is located in Texas, but he supports businesses across the United States. You can actually go in here and message him directly and say, hey, I want to work with you. I heard you guys are doing great things. You can see additional strategies that he works with as well. And then what I would say is let's actually just go in here. So if you are a business and you want to find a tax advisor to get more help, you can hit view more right here to actually find those tax professionals. You can go in and say, hey, I need help with these specific strategies, or I want someone located where I am. You can really kind of find different businesses inside here. Or if you have a specific business use case that you want to make sure they use the same software as you can also put those in there. But if you do click into a business profile, you can actually message them directly inside of here as well. And I did see in the chat how much is it to become a partner. So we have different rates and opportunities for you based on the number of entities and clients that you have. But I can talk you through what it looks like on the business side as well. So for the client pay version, it starts at $16 a month per entity, so very affordable. And then as tax firms join us, that price gets lower and lower depending on your usage. So if you had a lot of entities, we would work with you on the lower price. But I would definitely recommend, utilize that 7-day trial that you have to kind of see, does this make sense? And we would love to have you guys schedule a time. If you are interested, you can actually just go directly into the Instead website and request a demo. So if you are a tax professional, you can hit this for accountants and become a partner and fill out that form. Or if you signed up for a trial with us, you will see that there is a become a partner box within there, and you can just schedule a call directly with someone from our team.
Awesome. And Olivia, I do have a question from Alicia. She owns a large service bureau, so they resell tax software, and they're located in Puerto Rico.
Amazing.
So she had a question on if they wanted to offer this to all their tax offices that they service.
Yeah, absolutely. I would go through. You can actually email me directly, olivia@instead.com, and I'll get you set up with someone from our team that works kind of more in those technology partner spaces. So we can talk through what does that look like, and really kind of that additional partnership as well.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Javier. Thank you, Olivia.
Yes, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something that we could actually offer to our clients. So sounds interesting.
Yes. Yeah, and traditionally, a lot of firms will shy away from it because of the administrative burden, right? So what we looked at is how do we use AI to actually alleviate that burden? And, I think a lot of the time people see AI and tax as a bad thing. We see it as it actually empowers tax professionals to provide a service that gives more values to their clients, as well as make more money in turn. The client saves more, the tax firms make more money, and they just ultimately have that valuable client relationship rather than a compliance focused one.
Yeah.
Exactly. Help our clients to grow. That's
Yes, absolutely. I don't know anybody who thinks the government can spend money better than they can. So our mission is to empower businesses to save that money, as well as tax professionals.
Awesome. Yeah. And then Olivia, I think, Alicia, how many offices do you guys have that could potentially use this? You're on mute, Alicia.
Yeah. Currently, we have more than 150 offices.
Amazing. Yeah, I would love to chat further.
And still growing and growing and growing. So yeah.
I love it. Well, hopefully we can grow together. And Monica, it really does depend on how many entities you work with, but it would be the client price is $16 a month per entity, but for pros that we do offer a discount. So depending on how many you would want to start with, that's kind of the starting price. But for any tax firms that work with us, we offer a discounted rate. But if you sign up for a call with someone from our team, they'll actually go through and give you, like, based on your side or your business, what that exact price would be, and kind of walk you through everything there. But our goal with Instead was, how do we make it incredibly affordable for both businesses and tax firms to be able to offer this? And as you add more entities, that price gets cheaper and cheaper.
Yep. And then I think Monica had the same question. What would be our price if we decide to partner with your company? Monica, I think if you want to reach out to Olivia or Juliet, Olivia, could y'all, I don't know if you can put your contact information in the chat where they can reach out directly to you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing.
Okay, I added both of our emails.
Okay, perfect. And then does anybody have any other questions while you have Olivia and Juliet on here? Let's see if I can see anything. And if you do, if I don't see any questions in the chat, Olivia and Juliet are both in Negocios. They have their own group, and they'll be posting on there too. And then we plan on doing one or two webinars with them. So you'll see quite a bit of them in Negocios as we continue to ramp up.
Perfect. Yeah. And if you are a tax professional, we'll post those resources that I mentioned in our page so that you guys can, take those and run with it.
Yep.
Gracias por estar con nosotros. Si quieren saber más, pueden visitar a nuestro website. Lo voy a poner otra vez acá. Y gracias por todo.
Gracias a ustedes, Juliet. Thank you so much, Olivia. Muchas gracias pues a todo el equipo de Instead, que ahora es nuestro brand preferred para software de impuestos, tecnología, todo lo que tiene que ver con su negocio de impuestos. Y sí, como dijo Javier, también en los grupos tenemos la sección para que busquen a Instead, y también a través de Negocios, si necesitan algo, nosotros podemos conectarlos con ellos para que puedan dar la información. Aquí hicimos el polling question de las personas que están interesadas en comunicarse. Cuando terminemos el webinar, se los vamos a enviar inmediatamente para que ustedes puedan enviarle toda la información. Y bueno, bienvenidos de nuevo a Negocios, y nos vemos pronto en los eventos presenciales, y todos los meses vamos a estar aquí con Instead para que nos ayuden cada vez más con su tecnología. Gracias, Juliet. Gracias, Olivia.
Gracias, hasta la próxima.
Yeah, Juliet, Olivia, Alicia, and them actually have a conference in Puerto Rico with like 100 offices, so that might be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Awesome.
I love that.
Me and Olivia would be more than happy to go to PR.
Yeah, we always have this conference for our clients, and we do it in Puerto Rico, so that you go to our conference is one day, and then you spend the weekend in Puerto Rico. So.
Qué bueno. Ahí sí, gracias.
Cool. Thank you, Javier.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gracias,
Thank you,
Javier.
guys.
Gracias, Alicia, también.
Hasta la
por todo.
próxima.
Nos vemos pronto.
Chao.
Bye.
Gracias. Chao.